Hello again, everybody. This is emmavoid, back once more with another episode of my Heaven Will Be Mine Let's Play. Last we left off, stuff happened. We've been playing as Lunaterra. And yeah. I guess really, if you want to know what happened last time, go watch the last video. Anywho. What is the moon drop, Lunaterra? Halamede says it was something you used to talk about. Oh, yeah. We were thinking about crashing the moon into the Earth. Literally? Yeah, that too in the end. The goal of the space program used to be to make all of the solar system figuratively equivalent to Earth. When humans touch it, it becomes ours. That's why we use the Greek word to identify the physical bodies of space, and the Roman to represent our understanding and incorporation of it. We were being silly, taking a metaphor way too literally and way too far, joking about crushing the solar system together. It would make sense to return to it. It would be nice and neat. Killing absolutely everyone. Yeah. It was a horrible thought I shared with Halamede. She hated it, but she kept on arguing about it with me. The Earth looks so fragile and small here, and the moon looks so big. That's probably why. It was a bad joke, and she never thought it was funny. Good. She's very perceptive when it comes to that. I'm surprised, always, that people can find the self-destructive streak of yours harmless or imperceptible. I'm glad she didn't. I'm surprised you kept me around, given that. Should I have given up? Is that even a question? You should have followed your instincts. You appear to be misunderstanding. I take my work very seriously. As a leader, a woman, as a pilot, as part of the Memorial Foundation. You know that there are very real things Memorial Foundation believes in, and I believe in them too. Yeah. In seeking to bring all people together, however, there are choices that have to be made. Should we cut the world to fit its people, or the people to fit its world? That is what we struggle with the most. Cuts does not have to be a bad thing. It can be what's right for you or for the world. Making space for what exists without allowing it to be erased. Those the world abandons die, which is unacceptable. Or they become another world, which is also unacceptable. A kind of violence. Like smashing the Earth into the moon, hoping for togetherness, and killing everyone instead. We didn't find the right solution, but at least we knew which was a wrong one. It's so interesting to see how much they just flat out do not get along. Alright, what else we got? Guarding Mecha 1, Mare Chrysium. Ship self-design notes, author Dr. Nix. In a ship self, you don't have to worry about dying, not in the same sort of way. A ship self, isn't even a weapon. It's a body for living and traveling in space, and is equipped for doing the sorts of things that humans need to do, like fighting. The ship self, which lets you express like it's your own body, better than your own body, is a machine that's for falling in love and having fights. It's formed to literally suit us. It bears only the most abstract resemblance to something designed to kill another human being. The most efficient possible form for ending lives as quickly as possible wouldn't look anything like a human, and that's why Europa designed them from a child's toy. The ship self isn't the perfect form for war. It's a form that, by nature, turns war into something else. Part of this is due to humanity's relative weakness in space, separated from the origin of our gravity. Even with the power of a tidal reactor, we've barely come close to developing a ship self with gravitational and metacultural authority equivalent to human beings on Earth. While humans on Earth need to devote most of this authority to keeping their shape, identity, and differentiation from other humans, a ship self is less authoritative even than this, though in space they have far fewer restrictions than humans on Earth. If a ship self were to make planetfall, it would be crushed under human pressure and rendered lifeless. Huh. Next up, Iapetus evaluation. Executive Committee minutes. Operations Decommission Chair Europa. Ah, no. It's gratifying to know you share my suspicions as well. As I understand that it is the purpose of this committee to prepare for any eventuality, that this particular possibility hadn't crossed your minds was beginning to worry me. Oh, I'm no less worried now, but you're asking how to deal with Iapetus. That sense of superiority he has is not a weakness. It is truly dangerous, not just unpleasant. If he seems gracious or forgiving about a loss, it's only because he is utterly confident he will eventually be able to surpass you. But he's a realistic man. He will find the easiest route. Merely coming out on top in the end is enough. He wouldn't consider the quality of how he got there. In fact, it would reinforce his sense of superiority to know he surpassed you without having worked as hard as you did. He's shockingly good at predicting others, except for the moments in which he is wildly underestimated one. These fascinate me in particular. He can be so uncanny when it comes to gleaning specifics from trivial behavior, and then he's blindsided by the most obvious conclusions. His lack of respect for interiority is quite stunning. His win rate, without having it, should appall anyone with a general respect for human beings. Alright, so we're back to a quest that we did last time around also. Deeper cuts. In the Garden District closest to the manufacturing and broken tidal reactor that kept the colony together, time and space aren't quite right. Come on, Europa. It's weird when you won't order me. Can't you see I'm hesitating? Show some politeness. It's weird to see you hesitate. You don't do it. Then stop making it more weird, if you please. Let a woman be weird for once. I have no problems returning to the colony. I wouldn't have thought you would have more hang-ups than me. You have no regrets, no pain, at any of your training or your service in the war, about anything that happened there? About the people you met there? I don't have any problems returning to the Lagrange colony for this mission. The academy where you shaped us all? No, I'm happy to put it to rest. I was a real idiot, so I don't mind seeing it trashed. Or trashing it a little more to stop that celestial mechanics pilot from taking back the Lagrange reactor. Ah, you've taken an interest in Saturn. Professionally. She's a dangerous enemy. She was in Iapetus' division, but she was, yes, very clever. The Lagrange reactor is a worthless shard of nostalgia. Iapetus must be truly egomaniacal to send that prototype unit after it. That's a bad sign. The worst fights always happen over something worthless. It's certainly a trap, but you know that. It's still a chance to get one over him and stop that pilot if you're prepared to be serious. I'm always serious. Are you serious enough to stop playing? I'm not playing. Whether you are serious or playing isn't a matter of how you feel about it. It's a matter of whether you're committed or not, or if you're playing because you simply can't decide. You can't play forever. I told you, I still haven't decided. I'm not closing off the future until the last moment. Decide what you want about the future when the future comes. But you will never move from this point if you don't decide how you feel about that pilot. Europa. Oh dear, you are feeling guilty again. Well, that's to be expected. I don't mind if you lose against that one, or win. Just choose, right? You don't have to tell me. I know what happens if I don't. Alright. Fight for real in a fun way. Or fight for real in a fun way. Alright. Again, sticking with the loyal answers for now. Not long ago, the Academy Gardens were beautiful. And they were warm. Now they are colder than space, because no feeling is as cold as wet is, not even vacuum. Under the stability of artificial gravity, the Lagrange colony was as Earth. Maybe even a little bit more. And being more Earth than Earth was, it was also less, and so Memorial Foundation Existential Safety ordered it abandoned first when the space program was decommissioned. Yeah, we've read some of this stuff before. Moss grows, objects gather, true space is more of a numb feeling, the cold of nothing. I'm not so lost in nostalgia I can't tell when I'm not alone. And I know I'm not alone, so say something. So you did come. You're always close by. And you're always hiding something. And you're always just out of reach. Even though I've seen your face, I feel like I haven't. Even though I've shot you through the heart, it feels like I never touched you. Maybe you're just dense, Lunatera. I felt those plenty. I should say that about you, in fact. Lunatera, maybe you're the one who never came close enough to touch me. Am I just that good, or are you holding back? You're slippery. And you've gotten better, too. What makes you say that? I don't already know where you are this time. I must have been doing pretty awful before then. No, you weren't. But it's still unbelievable that you've gotten so good in such a short amount of time. So, I don't believe it. There's no hiding how much I suck, huh? No, the opposite. There's no way you weren't this good before. That's not true. You've definitely been trained, haven't you? I never fought other pilots. Did you fight something else? That doesn't count. It was nothing but training, and then nothing. The existential threat was never real. It was a trick of the light, and our weapons pierced it with 100% accuracy every time, and no one was ever hurt, and it never became real enough to fight. It's true. It's also true that this isn't a real fight either. You were right when you called it play fighting. Those machines weren't ever designed with practicality in mind. They simply aren't made with the intention to kill. I've read plenty of Dr. Nix. I don't need the lecture. And you're not even explaining it right. They did make ship cells with practicality in mind. They made them specifically in a shape that would not allow for death and war. Dr. Nix just didn't want an end to conflict, because that's silly. You can't be human without it. Death defeats the purpose of conflict, which is how humans communicate and change. Death and war end conflict. The ship self signals the fundamental transformation of human conflict from suffering into love. If you know it, then explain it the right way. If you knew Dr. Nix, you might have a harder time taking it seriously. I'm not part of Cradle's Graces for a reason, you know. I'm not that dumb. Not that I don't get the appeal of wanting to be that dumb. Just kidding. No, I do too. Pluto has that effect, doesn't she? Yeah, I feel dumb every time. She really makes you want to believe with your whole heart. Even if you never really quite can. And neither can she, all the way through. She just tries very hard. Lunatera, why are you really here? To stop me from taking a worthless artifact? To fall into an obvious trap for another chance at stopping me once and for all? To rack up the glory and take all the errant children home from Memorial Foundation? To mess me up? Or to make out with me? Saturn feels herself growing in Lunatera's eyes, suddenly clearly seen. Wasn't I just perfectly clear? What's this ship body for, anyway? I'm here to communicate. Lunatera, you're really shallow and kinda dumb. I'm honest. Finally! You're lucky that's enough. Are you ready for that, though? I don't think you're ready. Well, I think I'm ready.
You want me to check? I won't give an inch.
I'm not like you girls. I'm not a cosmic glow of energy in the dark. Still, I'm metal, and I'm sharp.
You really think I'm not like that too? But I'm already behind you.
It's a double lie, because the movement is to her left, but Saturn is coming from behind. LT's instincts are too good for her to not twitch fire to her left, even as she realizes it's just bullshit. But then there's nothing. The feeling of being so close to being struck that she can't tell if she was or not.
Are you really not like us girls?
I'm nothing special, like I said.
But you dodged it.
It wasn't real. Nothing to dodge.
Obviously. That's the part that's hard.
I'm fighting for real, just like you wanted.
You're the one who wants that. And fine, dodge this.
Lunaterra's vision fills with pink, the neuroelectric toxin melting into her skin. It feels hallucinatory, weird, stubborn, aggressive, vulnerable, just like Saturn. In the poison electric haze, Lunaterra feels a little like Saturn.
Ha! Got you!
I like being wrong sometimes, you know? I like not being Memorial Foundation's perfect ace.
It doesn't seem to really suit you, if I'm being perfectly honest. Neither does playing by the rules.
If ship cells don't play by the rules when you're fighting, it stops looking like fighting.
Oh yeah? What does it start looking like? Also, that's not where I am.
Liar.
Are you willing to bet on it?
Yeah.
Then go!
Stakes of hard light are fine for flirting, but that's not what this is. The Mercurium spear, made for reconciling the Earth and the Moon, is meant to be used up close. It's the distance where skin touches skin, the obligation that humans have for other humans, hard like gravity and warm like light. If no one has been worse at wielding that duty than Lunaterra, she's all the more the one who should be carrying that weight. Saturn only realizes after, when the lightness and heaviness starts to lift, that it had hit her too.
Wow, I didn't think it was even possible to have a gravity less suited to you, let alone for you to be so good at using it.
I really hate being in charge, actually, and I'm bad at it too. But sometimes you're the only one left who can do it.
Even if you hate it, and it's totally self-destructive?
Especially then.
Sometimes I think, why do we have to fight anymore? Let's just do this obscene other thing, the thing that fighting could be. And then you say something like that, and I want to fight you so bad.
You wouldn't get it.
You're hilarious. It makes me want to see you squirm. Like, in a nice way, though.
You can try. What?
It's just funny. I love it when you play cool. 'Cause you're not.
Let's communicate aggressively. That's what humans do.
Sure, I've already given up on that worthless reactor. They're never gonna scold me enough to make me regret this.
January 30th, 1981. Day is almost here. The deadline to save everyone who came up to space with us, fought with us, tried to bring everyone up with us. Earth's answer is a single atomic particle fired at near light speed directly into the cockpit core. A true weapon. Yep. In the end, they might get everything they want. They don't name it because naming it gives it power. Day 7. Report data unverifiable. Awaiting manual acceptance. Report accepted. Damage to Lagrange colony indicates most likely fulfillment of duties.
Incoming alert all Memorial Foundation troops. Prepare for landing on Moonbase. Cradle's Graces and Celestial Mechanics troops have seized control of the gravity well. We must prepare for the confrontation we have always feared, but there's still hope. We will bring everyone home, safe. We have Earth on our side. We will be prepared. Generating new assignments. Scouting mission. Verify status of Earth-controlled autonomous military units. And free time. Spend as you wish before the final battle. Huh. Your record is clear. Indicate you have understood new orders. Ready for gravitational catapult? Welcome home. Huh. You've had more than a few fights with that Celestial Mechanics pilot at this point, haven't you?
Yes, fights. Exactly.
You've really met your match.
In terms of troublesomeness, I think she has me beat. Did you know her? Saturn, a Generation 3 pilot.
I was only in charge of combat operations, and the third generation never saw combat, even against the existential threats. Of course I knew her, though. She was one of Iapetus's top candidates. She used a variety of methods to artificially jumpstart extreme tidal sensitivity in otherwise unremarkable pilot candidates.
I thought none of it worked.
The first ship cells had manual controls. To bridge the gap between your intentions and the energy of the tidal reactor is a complex language, a conversation between yourself and the machine, with advanced mathematics. You use your hands, but it is a fundamentally mental approach. Dr. Nix wanted to achieve communion through the soul. Iapetus, however, felt that direct interface with the body would be the most efficient. Teach the body, and the mind and soul would follow.
It sounds dangerous. Also made up.
It's all made up. There's nothing inherently wrong in using the body as a primary medium. However, he inflicted the intentions of the ship's cells on the pilots, rather than teaching them to express their intentions outward. He wanted subjects, not actors. It's impossible to read the rhetoric of his methodology any other way.
Was Saturn particularly resistant? Is that why she was downgraded from primary candidate?
No, she was intensely loyal, like another pair of hands and eyes for Iapetus. It was the opposite. She accepted all of those intentions perfectly. She was perfect. You see the problem, don't you? A doll like that doesn't have the will to compete in tidal conflict.
Why are you telling me this?
He realized in the end he had created someone as boring as he was. It took a long time for you to learn how to be a person after having been forced to be someone else. Don't forget how to be tender to Hellions, Lunatera. Huh. Interesting.
Lost Story, Ambient Tidal Forces, author a rivalry.
I was waiting for this chance. Me too, thanks for obliging. Anytime, but I'd love for this to be the last time.
Oh yeah? Do you have a plan for arranging that, or are we just going to fight forever without end? Do you win when your win ratio tips over 50%? It's climbing for sure, I can't deny it.
You're slipping. Getting lazy?
I'm just bored. I don't want to win an argument. I don't want to win a fight. I just wish you were dead, okay?
Me too.
I can't kill you, and I don't really want to either.
Well, same.
Man, don't talk like Neith. You know that pisses me off.
Don't say their name, then, maybe.
Maybe they died because they were tired of us having the same fight over and over again.
Are you kidding? They lived for it. Man, what a bitch.
I know, right?
I really miss them.
Me too.
Want to fight about it?
Man, jeez. Sure, I get it.
Subject fuck space. Ambient title information. Author a loss. You know what? Fuck space is complete garbage. The secret no one here ever wants to admit is that space is boring and empty and it's desolate and lifeless. It's not romantic and it doesn't care about us. They embellish dull gray photographs of dust with beautiful colors to pull our heartstrings, but the reality is nothing but different shades of gray, the palest colors. But you know what?
That's not even the most embarrassing part. The most embarrassing part is that humans can't do anything better than imagine spaces just like Earth, but a little different. Filled with people who are like us, but a little different. Well, hey, guess what? That's just Earth, idiots. You're projecting. Why do you need space to think about Earth? Why are you ignoring all the people and places on Earth that are like you, but a little different? Why is that dream more important than us? We're supposed to have dreams, but we're not supposed to just live in them. That's why I'm breaking up. I want to go home. Huh. Alright, mission select. Give me the moon. Time to move to the future, peacefully or painfully. No factions, no dreams. Just two girls lost and entwined in the warm summer of the moon's day. Or plastic versus metal. Earth is promised to let the children of space sort themselves out for now, but the machines of war guard the way back home, just in case. When Saturn and Lunaterra meet in a chance encounter, the true terror of humanity stares them down. Yeah, I remember doing that one. So let's do that one again, and then we'll get to the other one. The fleet's already in motion. Are you ready? No problem. I'm only worried about that trickster from Celestial Mechanics. No end of trouble. You don't sound too unhappy about that. I suppose that trouble will end soon, one way or another. It's simply recon this time, but it's on the near side of the moon. An Earth military is there, with autonomous devices. They are in very high orbit, but they will descend rapidly if they notice gravitational variability. The ship self is a shape intended for humans to exist in space, outside of Earth's pull. It isn't intended for war. The military is here with that most direct of intentions, so don't let them achieve it. Funny that the planetary sphere doesn't seem to think we're on the same side. There's nothing funny about it. We are not on the same side. We are complicating the problem. We can't let it go as much as Cradle's Graces or Celestial's Mechanics can't. Earth has graciously allowed us considerable leeway in dealing with the closing of the space program on all terms. Broken and naive as they find us, Memorial Foundation International begged them to let us try to bring the wayward children back home bloodlessly. So we should be thankful that they are just watching and not descending to rout us. Most of Earth would find any loss of human life to space unacceptable, but less and less of Earth considers us fully human. So the mission isn't just to protect any stragglers from getting themselves killed by the forces we're trying to save them from. You don't think we can trust them? If I trusted them to handle it, I would not have led you, the children of space, to fight this conflict. Do you think we can do it? Bring everyone back to Earth? There's a reason I'm not having you interfere with the opening of the gravity well. Everyone will be in one place at least. What Celestial Mechanics and Cradle's Graces hope will be their salvation could be ours too. We're on a tight deadline for something that might be that impossible. Win what's in front of you, and worry about that later. Alright. Hide together in the peaceful moon's winter night. It's winter on the near side of the moon, which means it will be half a month before this hemisphere sees day again. The frosted forest will see spring in a week, the summer the week after, and fall after that. A year of seasons in a month-long day. Even terraformed, could humans live like that? On the near side, though, at least the Earth will always be in the sky. Eternally huge, shining with authority and kindness, unlike its agent, who hangs in the corner of the sky like a migraine aura. There's nothing extraneous about its shape. It is here to do just two things: look, then kill. When Saturn flew a millimeter too high, the autonomous military unit looked, then killed, but just too slow, and Lunaterra pushed her away and dragged them both deep into the winter forest. The unit looks twice as hard. It's been encouraged to not miss twice. Shh, don't make a sound. You're being too noisy. I get that a lot, but this time I'm not making any noise, so don't tell me to be quiet. You're the one flitting all over the place. and they're listening for gravity. Vibrations are not the kind of noise that they care about, so keep moving and don't make noise in your heart. Don't make a sound in all possible senses. Don't make a sound physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Calm down. They don't like it if you're not calm.
First of all, that makes no sense, and secondly, I refuse.
I don't think you should die, so think of something else to do instead, because they can kill you. Unlike me or any ship's elf. So think about as little as you can, okay? Keep your tidal reactor's output to a minimum. It helps to make yourself be like an object. You'll be a thing that other things happen to rather than an agent. That's what it's looking for. Agency. So it can make it cease immediately.
You know, I'm absolutely super good at that. I have a lot of experience with it. So I'm absolutely not going to.
Well, me too. That's why I suggested it. But you're right. I shouldn't have suggested it like that. How about this instead? Start by thinking about the Earth.
The autonomous device becomes visible instantaneously. It doesn't look anything like a ship's elf, and bears no resemblance to a human shape because there's no intention for its design to accommodate humans. That's the opposite of what it does. It has nothing to express, only a function to perform. What did I do?
Probably thought too hard about Earth, but shh, all the same.
It's so creepy. That's supposed to represent Earth? It doesn't even look like humans made it.
Really? I think it's rather appropriate it doesn't look human at all. They can detect an artificial gravity reactor, but they don't really know what to do unless they can lock a target and kill it. So if it can't verify what it is, it won't do anything.
It feels so heavy suddenly. What is this?
I'm telling you, that's the Earth. Real gravity. It's very, very heavy. You can feel its authority. That's the gulf between us and the planets.
I know that. I guess it feels really different to feel it in person. You were saying, a way to avoid it?
Do you remember being a normal kid, even for a little bit? Or do you remember the last time you acted convincingly like one?
Obviously. I was a really good kid, you know.
It's checking your gravity against a script, and it thinks... Sorry, it doesn't think. It just checks that variance.
Aren't I pretty excessively varied by now?
Just wait there a second. It's hard to teach on the spot.
It's not that I don't know the idea. How are you so good at it?
Sounds like you kind of hate that I am.
I promised I wouldn't die, but I'm mad I have to do this.
Lunaterra crawls slowly through the frost-bitten green crater to where Saturn is curled among cold desert junipers. The dark, barely perceptible dot monitors them in the pale earthlight, so precisely waiting. It's easier to hide if their ship cells are turned off, or as close to that as a ship self can be, so they climb outside to the cold lunar winter to wait. I'm here. Are you doing okay?
No, obviously, I'm scared.
Me too, so forget what I said. I hate doing that too. You warm laying there?
You're not warm at all. But at least your boobs are soft. The autonomous unit doesn't like flirting, huh?
You should think instead about how you're keeping a secret. Keeping it really close. Waiting for the perfect moment, and no one else can know.
Okay, I can do that. That's not as bad.
Is it that big a difference?
There's infinite difference between someday and never. I've extremely forgotten how to be patient, but I know the difference.
You're right. It really is important to never forget.
It's still not going away.
Yeah, It's a lot more patient than us, huh?
It's looking at you too. Aren't you on their side?
Just because we want Earth back doesn't mean Earth wants us back.
So Memorial Foundation really is that stupid?
Maybe. In their eyes, we're as bad as you.
So why go back? 'Cause fuck them.
They don't want anything to do with us. Memorial Foundation thinks it's optimal for humanity to return, but I think many humans think it would be just fine if we died. That just makes me want to come back to Earth even more.
Spite I can understand.
I can be petty too. I want back, even if only for spite. We will bring them back a little taste of what it is like to be us. They're afraid that we might bring something back with us. And they should be, much more than they already are. And that's what I want.
Knowing that you're just as petulant and petty as me, and this week too, makes me reconsider you. In a good way. It's wonderful. Maybe makes me want to fall in love.
Oh,
I said maybe. Don't get full of yourself.
Sorry.
There's no way we're getting any more than half of what we want at best. You're only hoping for half of what you want, so I wonder if you'll even get that if you get it.
I don't expect things to go my way, but, you know. I hope you're coming along, wherever it is.
Truer than you know, LT. Whichever way we go, we're going together. In this cosmic glow, we're going wherever we're going together. I love you. Get used to me now.
You made me go upside down on purpose again.
You're so good at evasion, but scoring a direct hit is so easy.
You win. It'll be nice to see the end of every world with this one alongside you. See, the machine's already bored. Or not bored, but uncomprehending, and then it lost interest. But I'll stay here with you until it leaves for good. Because flight or fight, petty bitch to petty bitch, lab rat to upperclassman brat.
What, really? Do you maybe love me too? Aww. Did you notice, Lunaterra? Our base now is not far from the Sea of Crises, where your ship self was made and you first sorted. It's nostalgic, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Reminds me of when we were fighting some theoretical alien, existential threat, and not each other.
Would you prefer those days?
I don't think so. No, I definitely wouldn't. I like being less stupid. Fighting with people is better than not even thinking about people at all, instead of fantasies. Aren't you going to say that's still your problem?
I know when I drilled you like little soldiers, I taught you the opposite too well, but I wouldn't mind if you had second thoughts.
Europa, do you feel guilty?
We should all feel guilty, but me and my peers especially. We caused this conflict to be played out, and we failed to teach you well enough to endure it. The future we had hoped you would live in was much too childish for you.
I know. I'm not upset about that. Or I would never have come back here, by your side again. I don't want your guilt. Or my guilt.
What you need, Lunaterra.
I would like you to give me your orders. Without guilt or regret or expectation.
Of course. Though I've raised you terribly, Lunaterra, I've also always been quite proud of you.
She's always been so good, it's scary.
I can't deal with good kids. That was Nyx's job.
True. But I don't hear a reason to trust me. Or are you going to ground me?
You're my student, Lunaterra. I don't have to trust you. Trusting you is not my concern. I can't keep you out of trouble anymore, or even tell you what to do. I can only advise my last remaining students. Whether you listen to me or not, or to that girl or not, Whether you fulfill your duty to Memorial Foundation or betray us once more.
You're getting too permissive in your old age.
I've always been permissive, and I've always been old.
I thought you said I was in charge.
I will advise you no matter what decision you make, Lunaterra. And not quietly.
Then what's your advice, since I'm just going to do it?
Don't get out of dealing with your ex by indulging your death wish.
She's not my ex.
Were you not together, or is it not over? My advice is to not leave things ambiguous this time. Ooh, well then.
Existential threats. It was composed of solid light and arrived in multitudes. They never arrived in the same shape, pattern, or texture twice. They were memorable but indistinct. They were like and unlike things that we have seen on Earth, and they could not be touched, except through gravity. We could not determine where they came from, but they always headed towards Earth. We feared what would happen if they passed into Earth too much to learn what their intentions for coming here were. And our pilots defeated them, without fail, without any hesitation, without any resistance, flawlessly, beautifully, obviously. The truth has always been that the existential threat is much weaker than humans, no matter what we call it, and there was a refusal to name precisely at all times the substance and nature of the existential threat. First of all, by referring to it as the existential threat, Memorial Foundation International jargon, rather than by common local cultural names. From the failures of the Scout program on Earth, there was a desire to both separate the pilots as much as possible from earthly preconceptions. We did this to understand the new ways in which our pilots could be human, and we did this also to understand how the existential threat could change in corresponding ways, complementing their new humanity. Existential threats are always weaker than us, but they have ways that we do not, and they are always waiting in the corners of the world, looking to overcome us in other ways. In the case of the existential threat as it existed in space, we created a weapon, the Krun Makula, powerful enough to defeat them once and for all, single-handedly, and we did so. And we lost every reason to be in space, and we ended all mystery and possibility. So it is surprising that in filling the void, it became the pilots who took the role of the existential threat, as is known to occur on rare occasions on Earth. Oof. Alright. Final mission for this route. Give me the moon. Time to move to the future, peacefully or painfully. No factions, no dreams, just two girls lost and entwined in the warm summer of the moon's day. New orders, Lunaterra. Get out for a while. What? Oh, really? You don't need me on standby?
Yes, but you're making everyone anxious. The pacing and sighing is becoming melodramatic. Even worse, some of the girls are beginning to find it very attractive. Show them some mercy and give yourself a break, please.
Sorry about that. I just snapped at one of the deck mechanics. I am getting tired.
I know, and it's given her a disgusting crush on you, so please leave before any more of my crew becomes compromised.
I still don't get why that happens.
That you don't is less of a saving grace than you might think. It's good that you're not full of yourself, but you have no awareness of your own value.
I'm aware. It's not a mystery to me why someone would like to earn the approval of someone who treats them as if they don't deserve it. It's an intoxicating feeling. So why do they think I wouldn't want that too? I'm just as greedy and childish. It annoys me. I'm not an invincible monster. I need the same things.
Oh, grow up. You're no different than any of my other girls. You're the only one who thinks you actually have to be this made-up person. What, you think you're going to teach Pluto to not take on the burdens of those she cares about when you can't even throw off your own entirely self-inflicted ones? You know my girls aren't stupid enough to not see what a fool you are alongside your strength. They wouldn't find you so charming otherwise. Didn't you learn anything from your terrible relationship with my tragically pathetic niece?
I I learned to not pretend I could give someone what she wanted.
Wrong. You should have learned that just because someone likes you doesn't mean they don't also know you're an idiot.
Ah, mood.
No one needs you to be stronger. You need to let yourself be weaker. Do that quickly so I don't have to hear any more complaints from you or those girls. Aren't you tired of hearing them yourself?
Alright. Make up and forgive, outcome favors Memorial Foundation, or fight until we love each other. Huh. It's mid-afternoon, but only half the sky knows it. Burned gold fades into reds, pinks, purples, and night at the edge where the moon's terrifying abruptly ends. Terraforming. It's such an outlandish light, like standing in the middle of day and night. An unsteady feeling to be on the precipice of a hole between a world and not a world. The boundary between Earth and space is here. Terraforming engines dutifully pour blue, white, and green into the craters and barren rock, the elements of air, water, and life. It will continue until the moon is the Earth and the Earth is the moon, cosmologically, philosophically, literally. The long-awaited unification of Lunaterra. I want to watch it forever, even though it's not going to keep going forever. There's a pleasure in watching something happen slowly, like keeping track of the moon in the night sky. You can see it happening inch by inch. You have to be patient, but it's such a satisfying feeling. Lunaterra looks up from her resting spot on Mare Crisium's foot. You ever watch it like this, Pluto?
I thought I had finally snuck up on you for once. I'm still not as crafty as Saturn. Darn.
You were pretty close before I noticed you. Could have been a surprise if you really wanted a surprise attack.
I wanted to see how long you'd trust me with your back.
How'd I do?
Great, until you tried to be clever at the end.
Whoops. I'm definitely going to get yelled at again.
You got yelled at?
Like I was in the academy again. It wasn't great.
I wish I could have seen it.
I'm really glad you didn't.
I've seen all your most embarrassing expressions, but I never get tired of seeing more. It's no use hiding them from me.
Fine, fine. I give up.
Wow, you should get humbled more often. It's making you really cute. You don't want to fight this time? I was hoping we could do it honestly, for real for once. Might be our last chance for that sort of fight.
I was thinking that too, but it's our last chance to take a walk like this. Today, I want to do that instead.
It's not like the end of walks are at stake. There's gonna be more walks, Lunaterra.
But not exactly like this. I like it in the middle of things. The stillness of change.
In the haves and in-betweens. So like you to be rooting for them, Luna T. Okay though, because you asked. You never asked for anything, so you should get it when you do. Come with me. I want to show you something.
What they find is a waterfall, or something that's trying to be a waterfall. The rushing water flows through the canyon until the atmosphere becomes too thin and the sun becomes so bright it turns to vapor and dissolves. A rush of water stopping abruptly, yet very slowly. The point where it stops is moving forward. Eventually, the atmosphere will take hold, and the sun won't be able to strip the air and water from the moon. It's one of the last valleys left where space is still here, where nothing in inverse still exists instead of everything in us.
I thought it'd make you happy. You love lilacs still.
Oh, wow. They grow so fast here. I wonder how.
I think the seasons are playing tricks with them. But look, they're trying to grow right into the line of the sun. You can follow the trail until they burn in the sunset. They'll keep crawling until they reach the valley.
We're so unbelievable. Humans could overcome even this. Do sights like this still make you feel kind of sad?
A little, but humans still deserve it, so I can't stay upset. This won't be the moon anymore, but part of the Earth. And I want to hold the human and the alien together. We'll lose something if we don't. I wish you could be in that middle place forever. We grasp for something new, but we lose everything we touch.
I just want lilacs, and a home, a space with room for us, wherever that is.
How much would you give up to have that?
A lot. How much would you?
All I would need to make that choice is for you to make me feel that way, Lunati.
How do I do that?
Convince me everything's going to be okay, that we won't be losing anything, even though we will. Make me feel that way once again.
Well, we're no stronger, smarter, more perfect than any human beings on Earth, first of all. Second, there's no place more beautiful on the moon than anywhere on Earth. Really think. Nothing else in the universe looks that different, that beautiful, that incredible. Third, touching ship to ship isn't any different than touching body to body. We can speak that same language with just our own flesh. It's just a metaphor anyway. You can be human anywhere. That we did it up in space just means that we can do it back on Earth too. We know the language.
First, we never would have been allowed to grow up like we did here back on Earth. Second, space is cool. Third, giant robots are impossibly cool, and nothing you can possibly say will change that fact.
Ah, that's a mood and a half, Pluto. We're all we have. The world made me awful, and I had to fight so hard just to be provisionally recognized as human. So, I don't know why I miss it so bad. I wish you could tell me. My standards, probably, are bad. This part will sound stupid, but I don't want to believe we couldn't also be happy on Earth. No matter how good the future is, that our happiness isn't that fragile.
You know, you say you have very little faith, but I think you have more than me. You don't want to give up. You have so much faith you want to keep going even if you believe it's totally pointless. You're obscenely stubborn.
Things could be much different. You and me especially. We are very, very lucky. If we had been born in space, we would have been even luckier, but you only get so much. I worry about what we would be like if that hadn't happened, for me or for you.
If what hadn't happened?
Would it have taken us even longer? I already feel like I became a person too old. Would we spend our lives without ever...
Luna. We'd have found another way. Somehow. In Earth or space, no one is ever born whole. We got there eventually, didn't we?
I think so too. So, I'd like to believe that no matter what, we could live and be happy. Even in mortal bodies on our boring, awful home. I mean, they can't undo what we've done. When they take us back, they'll have to make us a part of them. Isn't that the simplest, sneakiest way to get everything we always wanted?
You really make me believe sometimes, Lunatara. Giant robots are still really cool, though.
Well, I tried.
Maybe it worked. It might be too late, but maybe it convinced me. You know I trust you, even when I can't. Come on, let's go smell the flowers. I want to touch them. I want to see if they're as pretty as I remember from Earth.
It's not quite 9.8 meters per second squared yet, here on the moon, but it's getting there. And the lilacs smell wonderful, and they're soft, and the air and the water is like a dream. The real thing. You're really warm.
And you're really cold. Still, you're right. Skin to skin isn't ship to ship, but it's nice too. It feels exactly the same, in a different way. No more or less. I missed you so much.
I'm here. I'm right here.
You really are. You're really still so bold, Lunati.
I mean,
I'm teasing.
Oh, okay.
Aww, the smooches. But that doesn't mean I'm also not offering.
You're so mean to me.
But you love it. You can be so strong when you're not trying to be strong.
Halamede, I knew you'd choose us in the end, even if you didn't choose me. All that matters is that you're coming home. Hi, Hallie. Hello?
I'm here. I was just startled. Why are you replying?
Since you keep messaging me, I thought you'd be less surprised. Sorry about that.
Don't start. I'll literally never ever forgive you.
Sure. That's fine. I'm not apologizing to you.
You have so much to apologize for, but it's only to me. But are you saying sorry about something else you're trying to do?
Maybe. There's a compromise I want you to consider.
I should have expected one more betrayal, even at the end.
No, it's more like I want to make sure that you hold up your end of the bargain.
No negotiation. The terms of surrender must be unequivocal. That's the only way they will allow us to return.
Really, it's not a change to the deal at all. Just asking about how we interpret them.
You shouldn't, because I'm going to stop you if you pull anything. Really, I will. Very, very easily. Don't worry about that part.
Well, in that case, I'm not going to be sorry at all.
You should know that shame is what you've earned and bear it.
No.
I didn't think so. I think you took away what I needed to be happy. I think I have to learn a new way. It doesn't seem fair that I have to when you don't.
I have been learning. It's been hard.
That's even less fair. You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't get to move past this.
Sorry. Or not sorry. I'm taking this anyway.
They're giving you everything you say you want. So what do you really want?
Even knowing I got away fine. Once you feel guilty if you got something special and never shared it.
The Memorial Foundation does not have the power, or the courage, or the hope. They have experience in numbers, and that still matters. It matters the most, because the gravity well is whimpering, sputtering, and Earth's tactics, strategic and realistic, are favored. Their weapons are kinetic. They don't fight with anything dreamlike or unique. All they have is to do this simple job. A fight between giant robots can only be so realistic, but that's the best they know how to do. They've never fought on Earth, after all. The gravity well is successfully commandeered by the Memorial Foundation. The limits are made clear. They were rockets built always for entry back home, and to take everyone with them. Halamede in the low Silsea soars in glory, holding the dying gravity well in her arms. Through it, she extends the logic of Earth to every tidal reactor, the exact gravitational constant that determines human to be human. Lunatera, you've done so well. You've been so good. Are you still going to betray us? Europa told me to expect it.
I won't. Like I promised. Even if the rest of the pilots may not forgive me, they're coming home now too. Is that a problem? I thought it was happiness for all, no one left behind. Emphasis on the no one left behind, because the first is too hard.
We have to be careful, you know that. They think we're more trouble than we're worth. There's a really simple, easy solution to us becoming another existential threat. A simple way to defeat it and prevent it. When they indulged the Memorial Foundation's plea for an alternative to their method, the one used from the beginning of humanity to the present day, they allowed us. Because we made the promise of submitting without complaint.
And that's true. Europa never failed to remind me the Earth could just decide to kill us.
The Earth cannot be divided. We're meant to be one. Earth is an anchor in space-time for us. It wasn't always like that. We started from zero. We had to carve out our place in the universe, bit by bit. We have to move ever forward, marching in progress. As culture marches forward, so does our gravity increase. We need each other, and we need this culture, this gravity, to make us together.
I agree. Humans need to come together.
Lunaterra immediately fires a solid light bullet into the gravity well restraint mechanism, and the gravity well implodes back to life. In the middle of the victorious fleet, communication immediately falls apart as space-time and electromagnetic forces tear through them. You finally did it, Luna T. Something so dumb I don't have time to get mad before I save you from it. You could have at least told me this is what you're planning.
I would have, but I wasn't planning this until 10 minutes ago. Hey, I didn't even cut it that close.
Tell me you've thought up something good. I'll follow you, even to a bad ending. But not if you've got nothing other than this depressing conclusion. I'd have to hate you to let you do that, baby. Hands reach from behind her and hold the well gently, easily, as Halamede's fingers shatter. What? Traitor!
Sorry, I'm just borrowing it.
You're not sorry now, and you weren't sorry then. I think you might really wish you were sorry. I want to believe you want to be sorry, but that's not good enough. It's certainly much too late for it. I wish, instead of wanting to be sorry, you just wouldn't be able to be happy again.
I can't do that.
Then please, deny this. Lil Suzi is made almost entirely of constantly refracting hard light. It emits from every angle at light speed a drowning torrent, a reversed vacuum, a void of energy, an unignorable, undeniable deluge. Light with the substance and pressure and weight of water. The heaviness is unbearable, to Lunaterra especially, yet it's so familiar it's impossible to escape. Automatically, she falls right in. No matter what terrible things you've done, you've never forgotten exactly what you deserve for them. That's how you could make it up. That's how you should make it up. At least not in the same way. Which I know now. I thought I would die before. But the nice thing is, if you don't die from this, you grow up. Even if it feels unfair. Are you suffering? Lunaterra reaches her hands as close as she can to the gravity well. Her own tidal reactor howls and creaks with the strain of not falling in. It isn't interested in Lunaterra's dreams. It just wants to have everything. The infant wish of humanity, Earth's pure greed, the white void, the all-consuming gravity that erases all distinction. Pluto can barely keep the light at bay. It tears into Pluto with perfect synchronicity. The Memorial Foundation has been waiting for this chance at the unit designed to defeat them, the one that reminds them of everything they can't have. She's drowning, but her fingers are still reaching, still holding the dying gravity well. The true enemy are the fast-approaching autonomous defense units. Unlike a ship self, they are designed with war in mind. As Halamede said, the easiest option is just to kill us. The option they're always most eager to take. No wonder they felt the ship self program was just a fanciful indulgence. They're surprised, then, when Saturn tears them to pieces. Huh, I guess you were right. I'm how unsure you were. You made it sound like it was going to be a lot harder. Pluto, you've been a good influence on her, like how I've been a bad one. We're really suited for a hopeless woman like that, aren't we?
Thanks, Saturn. It'll just be a little longer.
Don't ignore my nonsense. When this is over, I'm not going to forget it.
Sure. You can tease me all you want if you win.
You're not very inspiring.
It'll be super inspiring if we win, so let's do that first.
Saturn poisons the waters. She corrupts the information. What washes over Pluto is muddy, pink, toxic, and definitely bad for you, but at least it doesn't want to eat you alive in the name of love. It just wants to mess you up in a good way, and let you mess it up too. destabilization has gone successfully so far, and the gravity well is diminished and weak and dying fast. That's okay though. It's enough for a little wish. The greatest trick is to just move 1 inch forward. The only trick: change the physics by a decimal point in a secret place where they won't notice. Equivalent to inventing a new Earth is changing the acceleration due to gravity by 0.01 meters per second squared. That is something that is impossible, even with the gravity well. The Earth is the Earth and will bind everything to it. Except there is a nearby body, in perfect sync, inseparable and distinct, and although its orbit, through its orbit, its tides influence in subtle ways the life of Earth. I understand now. This is something I want too. You coming up with this idea is just the worst. Why wouldn't you just be a bad person with bad ideas and wicked dreams? And it's impossible now. Who would want to give up the moon for the Earth?
If we lose, we'll really look like idiots, and we'll live alone on a lifeless moon. So, let's make sure that doesn't happen.
The moon is to be abandoned too, unless you can bring it into such inseparable closeness. No, stop convincing me. This sucks. I still hate you, but fine. Live on the moon, away from me, forever.
Lostilce shuts the valve. Earth rips around inside her, but the gravity well, already compromised, begins to glow to life again. For a little bit longer, Earth can't touch it, can't shut it down. Left to its own devices, the gravity well will bring all things together. Of all the fabulous dream tech of the Memorial Foundation International Space Program, the gravity well, which brings together matter, light, and culture, is the strongest execution of their dream. And a pathetically mistaken one, too. The gravity well brings things closer until they pass through the event horizon and then can never return to the universe again. The limit where even information can't return. Whether it's a good universe or a terrible one, Lunaterra doesn't intend to find out. She's hopelessly attached to this universe. What we do want is to get a little closer. I thought you said we could find a way to be happy in any kind of future. I think that only works if we try really hard to make it not suck first. See, she gets it.
Well, it's not like I think it won't work. If the gravity well is sufficiently strong, it is true. It'll eat away at the tidal forces of the Earth. The math is like, the gravitational forces of the Earth will change somewhere in the billionth place.
How about the hundredths?
That's definitely super impossible.
I think we move the center of gravity between the Earth and the Moon. We pull a little, then we pull a lot. We pull until our bodies fall apart. I think then we can get a shift in the hundredths place. And bring a little bit of what we made here back home.
That's a very generous kindness. And also an extremely petty act of revenge.
Yes. I want to pay the price. And they should pay it too. The worst thing I can imagine is to live and die without being born. A future that is won against the unrestrained weight of the world. But don't worry, I'm not planning to do this just to lose. I'm stacking the deck. Coming back to Earth just like you wanted, and bringing everything back with me. I have modest ambitions. I choose the future I'm most frightened by. The one that crushes me under the pull of Earth's gravity. I don't want to wonder if I got away with it. I want to know that I could survive even this. That doesn't make a very good argument, does it? But, you know, Earth is sweet, even for someone like me who's better at playing pretend than the real thing. No planet has a moon like this. No planets have sunset and life like this. The romance and beauty is down here too. The romance and beauty is human all along. If we found something new in space, it was something that we achieved. Not these endlessly dead rocks separated by unfathomable distances. You can't just find it somewhere. You have to do the work. Yet, I want a reminder, a memento, and I want Earth to remember. It's not an omnipotent tyrant king. Many and one. Earth has a sister, and that sister is you. Lunaterra doesn't hear the alarm. Her body knows exactly when it's supposed to wake up, and she does. She doesn't have to wake up this early anymore, but her body has a hard time letting her go back to sleep. She wakes up, tries to focus her eyes. Her head hurts, just a little, so she thinks she'll go ahead and make coffee. Except Saturn's arm is tugging at her shirt, and Pluto's legs are tangled up in hers. So maybe she can't make coffee just yet. She warms out of the comforter as much as she can. The apartment's summer air conditioning keeps things nice and cool, but the summers here are hot, and so are the girls. Maybe if she tries really hard, she can go back to sleep, but it's hard. It's always hard with the sun still there, but especially with just the hum of the AC and everyone's slow breathing and the light shiver of sweat.
Hey dude, wake up. Hey, don't pull me back into bed. Pluto, stop her.
But I want to see who wins.
You're the one who wants to make breakfast. You made me wake her up. Don't act like it's not your problem.
None of you were up when I was up, so it's time to sleep forever.
That's what I said. Also, you're clearly awake, so let go.
No. Pluto. I'm making breakfast, though. I already turned on the stove. It's fine, it'll just burn the house down. Help me stop Saturn.
Okay. You traitor! You betrayed yourself! Ugh. That's enough out of you. Come get some coffee, Lunati, before you get a headache over it. You're really such a fake. It's for serious. You too. You switch sides really easily. So do you. Up again. Alright, you're helping me make breakfast. What? How come she gets to sleep in? She'll be right behind us.
She was. Lunaterra shivered for a second, bare under the AC, and then she got up. She turned the light cancelling off on the windows, and the day, which will last for the rest of the month, poured in, which she can feel a minute of, before she wants to go get breakfast too. On the near side of the moon, the Earth will always be visible. Without the hands of her old body, she won't ever be able to fly or feel the view as anything but a picture ever again. Even the memories are fading. But the moon is closer. So close that there's almost no difference between it and the Earth. It's another country, a strange country, and the Earth is too.
Alright, well, I think that's enough for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure to come back next time and we'll try the third route. And afterwards, try to figure out, because if I understand right, there's a fourth ending, and I'm not sure how you unlock it. So, let's see if we can figure that out. But anywho, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, all the other usual YouTube garbage, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!